Group is Brianna Conde, Kate Vargas, and Yaresi from chapters 34 and pages 828 to 829 during the contemporary period. Our research question is, under the rule of Adolf Hitler, Nazi Germany, what was the ideal lifestyle implemented on Aryan women and girls? The Hitler Years, Triumph, 1933 to 1939 by Frank McDonald, published on June 22, 2021. A pro about this source is that it is from a professional historian who specialized in the Third Reich and has information on a variety of materials relating to Hitler and helping with the contextualization. A con, however, would be that the author could have let their personal feelings get in the way when writing the book and, in a sense, exaggerated some information and only emphasized the big points. Our topic only had about 2 pages of brief information, while others had about 6 to 9. Hitler's Girls, Doves Amongst Eagles by Tim Heath, published in 2017. A pro about this source is that you get a personal hand account of women who grew up with these programs. A con, however, would be that there is a possibility that things could have been lost in translation or the account could have been in favor of Hitler. Lebensborn Program by the Holocaust Encyclopedia, published on March 27, 2025. Our website source. A pro about this source is that it gives us an overview of the situation and introduces the key points that the Nazis did and the purpose of the creation of the program. Con, however, that can be updated at any time. There's a possibility that some of the information could be debunked. Politics of Gender, Woman in Nazi Germany by Charu Gupta, published on April 27, 1991, a scholarly article. A pro about this source is that it gives us an in-depth explanation on the stereotypes women were forced to live their lives upholding. A con, however, would be that there is a possibility that there could be biased information, as the writer could have exaggerated some information, and considering the early publishing, some of the information could be outdated.
In the context of Nazi Germany, several societal changes should be noted, such as political instability, economic depression, and social radicalization. Post-World War I conditions led to an extreme economic depression, with Germany having to pay many war reparations. For example, Germany was expected to take the full blame for the war and had to pay for the costs and damages to other countries, including the U.S. Events such as World War I had led to extreme political instability within Germany. For instance, the country was undergoing a tumultuous time, which allowed for the rise of fascism in political circles. Socially, the war caused gender roles to be questioned, with women taking up jobs in the absence of men. For example, men leaving to the front lines caused an influx of women workers who, even after the men's return, refused to return to their homemaker life.
My name is Lieselot Hartmann, and I was born in 1931 to my father, Wilhelm Hartmann, a proud SS officer, and my darling mother, Gertrude, the epitome of a perfect housewife. Like anyone else, I was always told I was blessed to be born of pure German blood. I never noticed there were people who looked much different from me. How could I? Once I was 10, I joined the Junmedelbund Young Girls League. Today was Wednesday, so I would leave the white button-up uniform and my navy skirt for my brown uniform and march to the community hall, excited for the day. Every Wednesday and Saturday were my favorites. The leaders would have us sing songs like Deutschland Lied and Kampf für den Nationalsozialisten. As we hiked through the forest and we even learned to braid rope and treat wounds. I got to play with friends, but most importantly, I got to be a proud Aryan. Time passed, and once I was 14, I was a full member of the League of German Girls. Our leader, Frau Carla, would always say that our bodies were temples for motherhood, for Germany. So in order to protect our purity and value, we would exercise daily, learn to cook and sew, and clean houses. Before I left for the day, we would listen to lectures that included, "The Führer is our father. A woman's duty is to bear strong sons." I believed it. Everyone did. So how could we ever question that they were not raising humans, but baby machines?
When I turned 17, I received an invitation to visit the Lebensborn home. Heinrich Himmler had created the program to be strong soldiers for the Reich, and I heard stories of girls returning home pregnant and being called heroes. I wanted that. Once I got there, it was like paradise. Everything was spotless, and there were so many adorable children running around and in cradles. Every child looked the same, all fair skin and blue eyes. They told us that the babies were born from girls just like me, offering ourselves to SS men to bear children. The minimum, according to Himmler, was 4 children, and soon after my visit, I was informed that an SS man had chosen me. During my time, I would hear whispers, rumors between the nurses saying that some children weren't born here, that they had been rescued, stolen from their mothers because they looked like me. When I saw it, the horror and the fight a mother pulled as she tried to push the officers away as her baby was ripped out of her arms, the nurses who I looked up to as God slapped the toddler and dragged him away. Another night, I stumbled upon a doctor, 2 nurses, and a crying baby. The child looked different. Its face was oddly shaped, and the child had some sort of deformity. The baby cried as it reached out with its tiny hands towards the doctor and the nurses. But why was the baby on a metal tray? The doctor injected some strange liquid, and the baby stopped crying. I checked the next morning for the child, but the crib was empty. I never stopped to consider the fate of those who failed to meet the Aryan standard, and that was death. Then everything made sense. My leader back at the League of German Girls would tell us, if you were healthy, beautiful, and loyal, your womb wasn't yours anymore. It belonged to Germany. But if you weren't, then death followed.